From Abilene's home for lifestyle, community, entertainment, and family, live and local, this is KTAB for you. This is a special Veterans Day presentation of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices, honoring those who served by telling you their stories. Brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices. I'm Manny the S.
And I'm Bob Bartlett. Today, we honor our local veterans and hear how they are playing their part in our big country community. And let's begin with some history from World War II. In 1942, at 19 years old, Orville J. Cox became the first casualty of World War II to come from Haskell County. And while the community has commemorated him in more ways than one, he never got a proper burial, and his parents and siblings passed on, never getting closure. Now, 82 years later, closure has finally come.
Yes, KTAB's Noah McKinney takes us to the gravesite where descendants he never got to meet celebrate a reunion they thought might never happen.
On May 13th, 1940, an ambitious farm boy from Haskell County saw his hometown for the last time.
He didn't want to stay on the family farm. He wanted more.
Enlisting in the U.S. Army Air Corps, Orville J. Cox was ready and willing to put his skills to work for Uncle Sam in defense of his country, state, county, and all those loved ones waiting for him back home.
Talk about sports figures and entertainers being heroes.
No.
Not even close. I mean, he's a true hero.
At 19 years old, he earned that title, taking up arms in the Philippines and falling on foreign soil in the Battle of the 5 Points.
He gave the ultimate sacrifice.
While his remains were not recovered, his parents,
Our grandmother mourned and grieved so many years.
And siblings
searched their entire life to try to get an answer.
Never let his sacrifice be forgotten.
We grew up seeing pictures of Uncle Orville. We heard stories about Uncle Orville.
My mother always kept him alive with the memories.
Memories so strong that hope persisted even after the passing of his sister Elva in 2011.
I just kind of promised to her that I wouldn't allow his memory to fade and be forgotten.
A promise later fulfilled when in 2020 the U.S. military called asking for a DNA sample from a living relative. Modern technologies confirming Uncle Orville had been found.
We burst into tears. Emotions just were so powerful.
While they were offered a plot to have him buried in a national cemetery,
He hadn't been home since he was 17. This is where he needed to be. His home.
And so after 82 years, Orville, his mother, father, and siblings are finally together again. A reunion here on Earth, which his family says is really just a recreation of the one that took place so many years ago.
Even though he wasn't found for a long time, we know where he's at.
They're watching over us for sure, and they know, and they're rejoicing with him.
And while the faces here to greet him aren't ones he ever got to know, the welcome home is no less sweet.
It was truly a special day here in Haskell.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Noah McKinney.
Certainly emotional.
Oh, indeed.
Thank you, Noah. Cox was awarded the Bronze Star Medal, Purple Heart, Good Conduct Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign, American Defense Service, and Victory World War II ribbons posthumously. And as the first Haskell County casualty of World War II, Cox's name was memorialized on a building in downtown Haskell alongside the name of the first World War I casualty from Haskell County.
Well, still to come on Veterans Voices, how local veterans are taking aim at mental health through archery in the 4th annual Vet Center Tournament.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices.
Manny, it's been about 4 years since military veterans have gotten together at the Abilene Bow Hunters Association range for an annual Foam is Our Friend archery match.
Yes, the friendly tournament is putting therapy into action for local veterans to use the techniques they've learned in their sessions on the range. KTAB's Tobin Smith brings us more.
The serene silence in the woods around Buffalo Gap this morning was broken to the whisper of an arrow flying through the air and the snap of it hitting its mark.
just have the skill set already for marksmanship, but they're doing something quiet and calming. And this has not really been what we thought it was going to be. It's really turned out to be way more successful.
The Abilene Vet Center has brought these American service veterans together to share stories, trauma, and laughs in an effort to help one another through the pain that some of them feel daily.
At first I was skeptical. I was like, man, I don't know nothing about it, but being out in the woods, being around comrades, I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Ever since then, I've been hooked.
Armando Jaramillo has been participating in the Veterans Foam is Our Friend archery match since it started and spoke to how the camaraderie of the event has helped him to find peace.
I'm not a very open person, and being around fellow veterans, knowing that they've been through what the trauma that I've been through, they get my sarcasm, my sense of humor, they get it. And being around that it's just a peace of mind, really. It helps out.
New to the match this year is Nick Hill, and he highlights the authenticity of the experience.
Phenomenal. It's not just shooting 3D targets from a straight line of sight. They're giving us the fortitude of making it as real as possible, hitting different types of terrain, different types of animals out there in the field, so it brings it to life.
This is the third year that David Villarreal has joined the experience and told of how his first day of participation sparked a new passion.
Everybody welcomed me with open arms. I tell everybody that I meet and all the first timers that come here, you know, I got here that first day, and that same day I went out and I bought the bow. So and ever since then, like I said, I've just been shooting, and I've enjoyed every moment and all the time that I get to spend with the guys out here.
For these vets, it doesn't matter what branch you served in or where. Their concern is lifting each other out of the darkness.
To any fellow veteran out there seeking just an escape, a means of brothering, there's people out there, man, really. And I mean, when you don't think you need it, you need it.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Tobin Smith.
Well, thank you, Tobin. To find out more about the Foam is Our Friend archery match and other services the Abilene Vet Center offers, you can visit the KTAB website at BigCountryHomepage.com. Well, veterans in Abilene will soon have a wider variety of health care through a new VA clinic coming to the area. The new facility will offer an urgent care clinic, radiology, and other specialty care services, saving some veterans from the routine trip to Big Spring, the closest full-service VA health care system.
That's right. KTAB's Mariah Williams finding out more about the new clinic in West Abilene and the impact it will have serving Big Country veterans.
There's a lot of things that I didn't know was available to me until I started retiring.
Cameron Wiley is experiencing his first Veterans Day as a veteran choosing to stay in the Key City.
I decided to retire was to stay in Abilene, and it's because of that support I haven't seen anywhere else.
After serving 20 years in the Air Force, Wiley made the decision to retire, which came with realizations about his health.
I think we have a horrible nature while we're in to kind of just suck it up and we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Getting a new mindset during his exit appointments on being healthy physically and, more important, mentally.
I walked out of there learning that I had anxiety, and I was like, what? And all that stuff to get ready for retirement. You know, there was some appointments where I had to travel 3 or 4 hours to go, that there just wasn't enough here.
And now that issue is hoping to be solved with a new VA clinic coming to Abilene, offering more services.
Our veteran population is expanding, and this new clinic will enable us to expand those services.
The new clinic providing more care catered towards the men and women who served in uniform.
We understand what they went through in uniform. We understand the military culture, and we understand what the impacts it had on their health care.
And for Wiley, the clinic is one of many resources that has helped that these veterans didn't know they needed.
The best advice I got was, I don't care if it bothers you right now. I care if it could bother you 15 years from now or 20 years from now.
Veterans looking forward to the extensive care on the way. Reporting in Abilene with coverage you can count on, I'm Mariah Williams, KTAB News.
Thanks, Mariah. The new clinic is set to begin construction in January of 2025 and start operating in early 2026. Well, still to come on Veterans Voices, children at an Abilene elementary school had a patriotic program for Veterans Day that you do not want to miss.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices.
Well, local schools began their salute to veterans last week, hosting programs, letting their voices ring.
What a great sound. These second graders from Wiley West Elementary sang God Bless the USA and other patriotic songs for the program, accompanied by the Wiley High School Show Choir. The heartfelt tribute has become a tradition for the school. Veterans and their families invited to attend. The veterans and current military personnel from the Air Force there. Wiley also held a military staff greeting at the Early Childhood Development Center on Buffalo Gap Road. And students at Anson ISD kicking off Veterans Day honors by hosting a program inviting local veterans to attend.
Well, the choir sang songs, and Anson, the Anson Tiger Band played, well, the music. Veterans honored during one of the performances, standing up when their branch flag was displayed. Students also hung up photos of Anson ISD alums who are veterans and members of their family who are currently in the service. Anson ISD academic coach Nicole McCurdy says the program is a great way to teach students all about the importance of Veterans Day.
I think it's important for everybody in our community to understand what the veterans have done for us and what they mean to our nation and our community.
The program was planned entirely by students and took weeks of preparation. The high school art students created sculptures of military personnel out of packing tape. These sculptures displayed throughout the auditorium. McCurdy says about 300 students participated in the celebration. Looks pretty solid to me.
Packing tape, that's pretty cool exercise.
It's good stuff.
Still to come on Veterans Voices, a new name for the Key Cities Parade, but the same love and support for our veterans.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices.
The annual Freedom Veterans Day Parade in Abilene had a few changes this year. The parade recently changed organizers, now being run by the Abilene Freedom Foundation.
But continuing to show love and appreciation to our veterans. KTAB's Mariah Williams with more behind this year's Freedom Veterans Parade.
This year, the Veterans Day Parade in Abilene may look a little different.
The Veterans Parade, I kind of helped a little bit along the way. And then the foundation went, well, heck, will this really help it, and let's see what we can do.
Many residents were concerned with the name change, but Kelly J. with the Abilene Freedom Foundation says the appreciation of veterans is still at the forefront.
We have several veterans here that own businesses, that live here, and they live in Abilene because they love it. Well, we love the veterans right back. So when we kind of refreshed it a little bit, and we just wanted to bring excitement into it, we decided to give away money.
Prize money now added to the parade while also telling veterans stories.
We're encouraging all the entries to either have a veteran in their entry, actually go get a friend of theirs that's a veteran and put them in there with it, or tell them the story of a veteran within, as they decorate.
Jay says he was honored to help run the parade this year and especially honor the veterans in his life.
Veterans, my dad, my uncles, and my cousins, and all that. And then part of the board that actually puts it on, there's several veterans on that, so I've got tons of veterans friends. And then as you meet more veterans, it's even a better thing because they really did do a lot for the country, and that's why we're bringing that awareness. That's why it's special to me to be a part of it.
Honoring those who served and shared their story of sacrifice. Reporting in Abilene with coverage you can count on, I'm Mariah Williams, KTAB News.
Good stuff, Mariah. Keeping the Veterans Parade in mind. Fair weather and clear skies met attendees of the Abilene Freedom Veterans Parade. Hundreds coming out on Saturday morning to line Pine Street to cheer on our servicemen and women as they came by. Let's take a look.
The parade held annually in downtown Abilene, but This the first year it was organized by the Abilene Freedom Foundation. Around 80 floats, bands, classic cars, and other entries moved through downtown Abilene Saturday. More than 45 awards for the car show, while entrants for the parade were eligible for cash prizes this year. Organizers say all money left over from the sponsors and the car show will be going towards local veterans services. Still to come on Veterans Voices, how veterans were honored at the Texas State Veterans Cemetery in Abilene today, and how you can still pay tribute to a veteran this holiday season.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for you, Veterans Voices.
Well, World War II was our greatest generation. Korea was the forgotten war, so we need to remember that. And I was a member of the Persian Gulf War and Desert Storm, Desert Shield, so that one's very important to me.
Following the nearly 2,800 headstones that were honored with the United States of America flag at the Texas State Veterans Cemetery, tribute was paid to veterans with a flyover and the unveiling of the new monuments memorializing those who fought in World War II, the Korean War, and the Persian Gulf War.
Our country enjoys freedoms and liberties at home, all thanks to the brave sacrifices of people who decided to defend them. Some of them who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Today, Abilene residents are paying tribute to their legacy by laying flags on their graves.
KTAB's Ashley Ibarra visiting the Texas State Veterans Cemetery in Abilene, speaking with volunteers on how they are remembering veterans.
So my grandfather and my grandmother are both buried here.
For Jacinto Aguero, visiting the Texas State Veterans Cemetery at Abilene has become a yearly tradition.
And they lived a long life and they were always happy together.
Placing a flag on the grave of his World War II veteran grandfather, Pedro Morales Aguero.
He was a character. I mean, he's lived around this area pretty much all of his life.
Veterans Day holds a special meaning for Jacinto as he is a veteran himself, joining the Army right after 9/11.
We were the first unit deployed into Iraq. We breached the berms to go into Iraq.
Almost there. Greg Gilbreth and his family celebrates Veterans Day by honoring his dad.
My father was a Vietnam vet, 1967-68.
Happy to see people of all walks of life participating and learning.
History will erase if we don't keep reliving it sometimes, and so it's great to bring the kiddos out here.
Cemetery on-site Reb Craig Wooten shares the holiday is also a reminder of sacrifices made.
But they still sacrifice time away from home, time away from loved ones, birthdays, holidays, to serve their country.
About 2,800 headstones are in the cemetery. Many vets, Wooten says, with loved ones who are now passed. So volunteering to place flags makes all the difference.
I would like the public to see how respected these veterans are, even in death.
As every headstone receives their flag, Air Force veteran Bill Butler is reminded of the friendships made over the years, visiting the headstones of friends.
And I love each and every person that I see out here because they give their time for those people that gave their all.
In Abilene, with coverage you can count on, Ashley Ibarra, KTAB News.
Thank you, Ashley. Organizers say last year they had about 150 volunteers. Numbers aren't official yet, but they feel they had about the same number of people volunteering this morning. And our thanks to them.
Most definitely. Well, it was earlier this year that the city of Abilene made the donation of 150 acres of land to the Texas Veterans Cemetery, Abilene.
And the donation making the Abilene Cemetery the largest state-owned cemetery in Texas. Although 31 of the current 63 acres have been developed, there was concern about running out of space in the future. As Craig Wooten of the Texas Veterans Cemetery explains, it may be some time before the additional land begins to be used.
This is something that I guess may not be utilized in our lifetime. It's for the future.
Most definitely, many generations to come, for sure. The prediction right now is about 25 years we'll be able to expand there, but it will definitely guarantee future generations a place to rest.
Meanwhile, you can remember a veteran at the Texas State Veterans Cemetery this holiday season by sponsoring a wreath on the grave of our fallen heroes. Wreaths Across America is about 45% to its goal and needs roughly 1,500 wreaths sponsored. For more information, see the URL at the bottom of your screens there, wreathsacrossamerica.org/TX0205.
Well, annually since 2016, Nexstar, our parent company, has continued its commitment to local communities across the nation through the Founders Day of Caring. This past June, KTAB and its sister stations hosted a cleanup around the Texas State Veterans Cemetery here in Abilene. We scrubbed down headstones in honor of those who have come before us. Following the cleanup, we welcomed area veterans for a lunch and a program in which KTAB's own and military veteran Bob Bartlett shared a few words. There you are, Bob.
Sharing a few words
yes.
with, in my Army uniform there.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Few words with the soon-to-be President Ronald Reagan. That was fun back in the 70s.
Imagine that was quite a conversation.
Oh, it was. I had a fine time in the military.
Yes, sir. 6 years you served.
Yes,
correct?
6 years in the United States Army Reserve.
Wow. Well, appreciate your service, Bob.
Thank you, man.
Well, thank you for tuning in to this special of KTAB for You Veterans Voices.